How did the Colts beat the Chiefs in 2022? Full breakdown coming for you guys right now.
There's no better way to get better at football than playing football. So if you want to,
Taylor's gonna finish it. I've always been confident in my abilities. I think I'm a guy that can go out there, and I always believe in myself that I'm gonna get open and make the play if they throw me the ball.
The third, Ryan, end zone shot for Pierce. He caught it. Oh, what a!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Colts Cast. We are here to talk about everything and anything Indianapolis Colts. Here's Jamal Lawrence. I am Eric Smith, your co-host of the Colts Cast. When you think of highlights of the 2022 NFL season for the Indianapolis Colts, what exactly comes to mind? I'll tell you in a heartbeat what was ours. The win at home over the Kansas City Chiefs. You went to that game, right, Jamal?
Did, man. I did. It was a wild game.
Jealous. It was wild at home.
One of the only times the roof was open and everything. So you got to enjoy that too.
I know. Getting that first win of the season in the column. That first win was refreshing at the time. Fans were rejoicing. We just beat one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. No one can stop us, right? Wrong. Almost everyone after that game stopped us. But anyway, instead of talking about what may have happened or what's going to happen in the future for 2023 season, things like that, let's talk about exactly what went right in the past, how we pulled off that big upset. What went right for the Colts back then? What went wrong for the Chiefs? Straight analysis, Jamal, where are we starting?
We'll start what went right for the Colts. And the first thing I'll say that what went right for the Colts is special teams. Special teams. And that's a missing link that we could possibly see maybe not be as good this year. We have a couple pieces to the puzzle that are gone. Isaiah Rodgers was returning kicks for us then. Bubba Ventrone was our special teams coordinator. Two pieces right there missing. Other people got to step up, but not talking about the future, what's going to happen here. But we have to address the fact that special teams was what did us in. I mean, Eric, when we think about that very first drive of the game, we did nothing, stagnant offense. We punted the ball though. And when we punted the ball, we recovered that fumble on the goal line, on their goal line.
Yep.
Perfect start to
Moore.
Yeah.
Sky Moore muffed that punt, and Colin Granson came in, shot in like a rocket.
Yes. Couldn't ask for anything better. Second quarter, we had Chase McLaughlin kicking field goals, put us up by 4. My man was automatic, which was good because that was something we had been thinking about. Well, what's going to happen with kickers? Kicking had been horrible for us. So Chase is out there getting kicks for us. We had what was the other one? Oh, the punt where we got it on. We knocked it all the way to their 1 yard line to start.
Colin Granson again.
Colin Granson.
Yeah, great punt by Matt Hawk. Got the tumble we needed. It rolled right to the 1 yard line. I mean, it was perfect. Colin Granson, he downed it. But yeah, you're talking about Chase McLaughlin hit all of his field goals.
Yeah,
all of them. 2 out of 2.
51 yard boot. Yeah, we'll take it.
51 yard. He hit a 51 yarder. Like that's what we need of a kicker when we need him most. Get some points on the board for us. Hit all of his extra points. He did his job how he was supposed to. Like Rodrigo Blankenship. But yeah, special teams went crazy. I think even Isaiah Rodgers, you were just talking about him, like returning kicks.
Yeah.
Just returning it 30, 35 yards. That helps the Colts a lot. Like, especially when we can't move the chains. Like another set of downs we would have to get without those special teams yards. It's something to talk about, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would have to say the special teams unit did everything right that game, even denying that fake field goal attempt by the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because their punter was trying to get it out and could not do it, but we made sure that didn't happen. Yeah, special teams were crazy. Props to Bubba Ventrone and that entire unit. You guys definitely were an impact on winning that game. But let's keep it simple. Let's talk about Matt Ryan. I think he played one of his best games against the Chiefs at home for the Colts. He went 27 for 37, 73% completion rate, 222 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Y'all heard that, right? 0 interceptions. It don't get that much better from Matt Ryan. I mean, once you get that stat, baby, you knew we were in to win it that game. 2 fumbles. Did have 2
Yep.
fumbles. Only 1 loss. So, getting the game where Matt Ryan is only responsible for 1 turnover, gift. That is a gift from God. I mean, I'm being dead serious, guys. The reason he had that fumble, he tried to unathletically run away from some pressure from Carlos Dunlap. He got stripped with ease.
Yeah.
He did get sacked 5 times though. I won't say that's all his fault. There were plenty of times where, and I remember one completely, like JT, he missed his assignment. It looked like Ryan Kelly said, "Nah, I'm gonna double team this dude with my right guard," and they just let that man come right down the middle. So I don't know what happened there, but Matt Ryan never got what he was promised when he signed that contract, a premier offensive line.
Sure.
But other than that, I would say he played a pretty good game, like a game manager-esque stats, not a lot of mistakes, not like gaudy passing stats or anything like that. He had his 2 touchdowns, all of Jelani Woods, and he did his thing. And especially that 4th quarter comeback, Jamal. That 4th quarter was very impactful for us.
Mm-hmm.
He stepped up there, but he led that 4th quarter comeback. And to get into that, that's where I believe the entire team showed up. That last drive by the Colts, where it was magnificent, 16 plays, total of 16 plays on that last Colts drive, unless you're counting the one where we got the interception and just kneeled, but not counting that one on the final offensive Colts drive. That drive lasted 8.5 minutes, 16 plays, went 76 yards down the field. And I don't think you could have played that any better. You talk about controlling time of possession when it meant the most. Not to mention making the big time plays when we needed it the most. Matt Ryan was sending them darts. Our receivers were catching them. We're getting open. They were doing everything necessary. Like JT even had a big run down the stretch on that drive.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was pulling their weight. Offensive line even stepped up there. Besides, I think maybe one holding penalty or something. But keeping Patrick Mahomes off the field as long as possible was the best thing we could have done there.
Yeah, 100% right. Keeping Mahomes off the field is what we needed, and that's what happened. And honestly, when thinking about that 4th quarter, that big drive, that unsportsmanlike conduct on that 3rd down is really what saved us, because that drive would have been over.
So wrong.
So thank God it happened, because we needed it. That was a little bit of juice we needed to keep going. But keeping Mahomes off the field was huge, and I think that we're going to talk about how the Chiefs messed up, but I think that the Chiefs didn't know what to anticipate with this game, and the Colts decided to step up when they absolutely could, and when they absolutely should. You talked about how big that 4th quarter drive was. Michael Pittman Jr. going across the middle, ripping the ball out of Snead's hand. Man, that was a great.
That was a
great
crazy
grab.
catch.
Yeah.
That I'm telling you, I have a Michael Pittman Jr. jersey for a reason. Like, that man's got talent. That's all I'm gonna say.
He does. But I know Jelani gets all the credit here because he had those 2 touchdowns, but I can't not speak on Alec Pierce, dog. Alec Pierce was all over the board that game, just grabbing everything. I mean, he only had 3 catches, but he had 61 yards off those 3 receptions. So he was averaging over 20 yards a catch.
Well, the biggest one, I don't know if you remember that go route down the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
Big grab, because we were on our own 5 or something.
Yeah.
And all Matt Ryan had to do was throw it up. Pierce took that thing down. I mean, it's a mismatch a lot of times, like on those routes, on those catches for Pierce. And I want to see more of that. I really do in 2023, because that looked really easy for him when he was doing it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we will see more of that, especially with having someone who doesn't have a noodle arm back there to throw. Because we have to, again, it is not our problem anymore, so we don't have to really worry about it. But we can't not say that we didn't see some noodle action during this game, because even getting some of those balls to MPJ and to Pierce, it looked like he was going to throw his arm out the socket. So I'm glad he was able to get him there, because we needed him. Um, but again, of course, we have to address the biggest elephant in the room, Jelani Woods. My man only had 2 catches for 13 yards, but both crucial, critical touchdowns.
Right. And
Man,
the 2 big touchdowns, yeah, our only touchdowns. The second one I thought being the most
oh
impressive,
yeah,
as he made that handsome catch while the defender was all over him. Like, he held on. That's a strong man right there. I'm loving it.
yeah, it was freaking great. And then, of course, we had Rodney McLeod with the interception, because I was like, oh, Chiefs are about to get in field goal range. This thing's going to go to OT. And if it goes to OT, it's over. Rodney McLeod stepped up and said, let me go ahead and get that interception with 2 seconds left to end it for them.
Yeah, and the real hero right there, the unsung hero, was Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Yeah.
he's probably won all of our games for us. I'm sad that we traded him, but that incredible pass deflection at the very end sealed the game. That's how it got into Rodney McLeod's hands. And we haven't even got to our defense. I feel like we executed at a high level, especially against a top 5 offense in the NFL. We made life tough for the Chiefs that game. We shut down their rushing offense. They're not known really for their rushing offense, but limiting them to 2.5 yards per attempt on the ground. I really think we forced them to be one-dimensional, which usually isn't an issue for Patrick Mahomes. But telling you, Gus Bradley and them, they were making plays, and we'll talk about it I'll talk about it when we talk about what went wrong for the Chiefs. But our Colts defense, a lot of our fans, a lot of Colts fans, a lot of our viewers, they really think the Colts defense is like top 5, and watching this game, you see glimpses of that top 5 potential, because like the way, I mean, Mahomes still almost had like almost 300 yards, but hey, Mahomes usually has over 300 yards, like things like that. I think we limited them to total yards a little above 300. So that's not a huge game from the Chiefs. I think we did our best on defense.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I mean, going into the second half, I believe we had only allowed like 145 yards of total offense from them. So it was lights out from the D, for everything they needed to do for the entire time. I mean, I was looking back at, when I was rewatching it, that what was it? Was it that 3rd and goal, Kenny Moore, where he locked down Travis Kelce? I mean, Kenny Moore, Travis Kelce, that's a mismatch waiting to happen. And I'm sure Travis Kelce and Mahomes would take that any day of the week. They would take
Right.
that mismatch. And Kenny Moore said, not today.
That
And he
was in the
came
second half or the first half?
yeah, second half. That was in the third
Okay.
quarter, the second half. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just transition to what went wrong for the Chiefs, because I kind of want to talk about that. I think Travis Kelce, he was kind of going in probably that first half. I mean, he had a touchdown. He was making some good grabs. He was getting open. I feel like Gus Bradley and that defense, they made the right adjustments after half to only limit him to about 20 receiving yards. Again, he was targeted a lot in the second half, just like that Kenny Moore play. But boy, our players were in the right position a lot of times to shut him down. And then you gotta have guys like Juju Smith-Schuster step up, and they didn't really have a wide receiver one last year. They didn't need to. They still won the Super Bowl. But I wouldn't say they had their Tyreek Hill. Everyone thought that offense was going to stall out with I won't say everyone. A lot of people thought that offense was going to stall out without Tyreek Hill. I thought that was the engine. That was the one that moved the chains for them. Nah. It's always been Mahomes. He can put anyone in, he can make anyone better, and he did. But shutting down Travis Kelce, I think that's kind of what went wrong for the Chiefs that game in the second half. Also, not having Harrison Butker, Matt Amendola was awful in that game, and he missed a critical field goal. He missed the extra point. You don't want to do that when you're stepping in for your kicker. We've had kicking issues for the Colts. We know how that is. Also, Pat Mahomes, he can't be your top rusher with 4 carries for
Yep.
26 yards.
Yep.
Um, you need to have a decent rushing game to have an efficient, effective offense, in my opinion. But having that defense adjust for both types of plays, it's just harder to defend. I would have to say. But what do you think went wrong for the Chiefs, man?
Yeah, no, I fully agree with everything you just said, and it, truly, in my opinion, it was Travis Kelsey just kind of getting shut down because the adjustment that had to be made was to make sure he wasn't relevant, and you could even kind of tell like throughout the game, like the Chiefs were trying to figure out how and what to do on offense because it wasn't clicking. I mean, they were trying trick plays. Not, it's not every day that you're going to just do a trick play in the middle of a game. That's usually either A, you're up big, or B, that's a desperation because you're trying to get a big play to get going. And even when they did it, I think it was only like a 8 or 9 yard gain. It wasn't anything big, So it was just more of a very stagnant time for them. And as you mentioned, our defense did everything they could, holding, especially when it came to hold him to yards, because that's a momentum team. If you can slow down the momentum and keep them low, I think it's hard for them to I shouldn't say hard because it's not hard for them to pick up and just take off. It's not. But it's hard for them to get onto the field and know they have to score as quickly as possible when we have the ball in offense. We're going to take an entire quarter to move it downfield. You're working with so little time. So I think it's more of a panic mode than it was for them to be their oil machine that they normally are, which is a good thing. I mean, our defense did everything they could to make sure that they weren't successful. And like you mentioned, the special teams, again, that was another part. They missed kicks. That fake field goal that they went for, after they missed that first kick, all that stuff, it adds up, man. And it was just, to me, it was like a desperation type for them the entire time versus them going out and playing regular Chiefs football.
Felt like our defense, yeah, I don't know, doesn't get enough credit, even though, because I want to talk about Patrick Mahomes and our defensive line a little bit, that even though our D line didn't get like massive sack stats and things like that, you could tell our D line was putting pressure in the trenches. It's just Patrick Mahomes is so elusive. He might not be Kyler Murray elusive, but he's bigger than Kyler Murray. He can shake people. He just does magic in that pocket, has that awareness, knows where to go, knows when to run, when to scramble. We got some touches on him, some QB hits, but couldn't bring him down. Even when we got some pressure, he just got out of there. It's kind of insane how good Patrick Mahomes is. And I hope everybody that's listening right now, like we need a Pat Mahomes, but we got that. And Anthony Richardson. Another thing I thought went wrong for the Chiefs, third down efficiency. Chiefs went 3 for 10. That's 30%. They only converted 30% of their third downs. Colts went 6 for 15. That's 40%. But 40% is actually on par with the rest of the NFL in terms of averages across the season. So, we kind of did our thing. We converted 40%, but when I think of 30%, I'm thinking like, oh, you're the Houston Texans. You're not converting anything on third down. You don't want to be there. So I feel like if the Kansas Chiefs did get one more conversion on third down, that, the game could have been way different. They could have been in field goal range. That could have put them in red zone territory. Like, things could have just changed. I just guarantee you the game would have ended a little bit differently. Whole new set of downs for Andy Reid's offense. That's scary. But our defense made stops when it mattered, despite the Chiefs having a way more efficient day through the air. But still, we played, a really good game, when you think of our standards, and the Chiefs kind of did not. They were making a lot of mistakes. It felt like a trap game. Like, I think they were only favored by 4.5 points or something. And I was like, the Colts just tied the Texans, lost to the Jaguars. We're at home. Okay. But the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and they're only getting 4.5 points. So somebody knew something. And, and it ended up, we ended up winning that game. That was an amazing game to watch. That was something. I don't know. I wish I was there to experience it, but
Oh yeah, it was a very very live and wild game, and just of course everyone knows Colts Nation. They always show up no matter what's going on. But to see the Chiefs game going the way it was, and see that we were still in contention, even though, like you said, someone knew something with that 4.5 spread or whatever, or 4 spread. Um, Everybody still was in there like we were going to win from the very beginning. And then once that interception happened from Rodney, all hell broke loose. It was just the craziest thing ever. And I know everyone's riding that high because you got Matt Ryan on his home debut for the Colts winning. You got Frank Reich, who's like, I'm that guy. We just beat the Chiefs. We're about to be riding on high for the rest of the season. And obviously we know what happens next. But everybody was just so happy because it was, I would have never even entertained us beating the Chiefs because I was like, there's just too much. There's too much that will have to happen in a perfect world because we know what the Chiefs can do. And when you just sat there and watched it unfold as it went on, there were some when they started scoring early, I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I anticipated. But then we came back, and then we would score, and then they would score. They would mess up, and they would do something bad, or they would fumble, whatever the case is. I'm just like, this is a little bit tighter game than what I anticipated. So it was refreshing to see something like that, man. But there's nothing cooler than, having a tie with the Texans and a loss to the Jags, and then you come out and beat the Chiefs. It's just an awesome feeling.
Yeah. Wish I was there. Any given Sunday, essentially, man.
Yeah.
Any team can win. That's what it seems like. But I'm hoping we get a little bit more Sundays when this 2023 season comes. I hope we surprise everyone.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. If not, I guess kind of switching topics. I won't be surprised if Anthony Richardson has a rough year. Like,
yeah,
he's like a developmental project that we don't want to label him a project, but let's keep it real. Like, he's only started 13 games. Like, I can't expect him to transition the NFL in his first year and have a great rookie season. Like, a lot of quarterbacks don't have a great rookie season. Peyton Manning didn't. So it's going to be like that sometime. I think Andrew Luck did, but Peyton Manning did not.
Yeah, Andrew Luck did, but Peyton definitely did not. But it's one of those things where Richardson has a lot to learn, and that's what people have to remember. You have to set your expectations within reason. Just because we can see what he can do on the practice field doesn't always translate over to the game field. So just remember that. And it's going to be a learning curve for him and everybody around him. So I think that we should expect to see him grow a lot this year. If we get the wins out of it, sure, everyone's happy. But I want to see that growth from him because I know what's to come for the following year and the year after and the year after.
Because that's kind of actually what happened at Florida. Like, his first half, I mean, there were a lot of mistakes, a lot of inconsistencies. He actually got better down the stretch. So that's what I'm hoping he does. His first season, sure, we can stretch it out to his sophomore season. Like, I want to see improvement.
Yeah.
If I see improvement, I will be happy.
Yeah.
So we got off topic. But, that's what went right for the Colts. That's what went wrong for the Chiefs. It's good to reminisce and go back and see and kind of talk about our highs instead of just always talking about our lows. That's going to be it for us, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. We're live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. We'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. See y'all.